Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I'm so glad you're here. Today's date is Friday, September 9th, 2022. I feel like I'm surrounded by 17s. And it's not just that to avoid being stifled, we've had to rename a letter of the alphabet that way. If you notice in the news today, oh my goodness, Prince Charles has said there's going to be 17 days of mourning before there's a change of in the monarchy. The Queen passed away on the 1776th day after 17 put up their first post. She died on 9/8, which makes a 17, and the 17s go on and on. And I encourage you, because we get lots of comments, and yes, I read them. I love the comments on my posts. If there's other 17s that you're seeing or noticing that others can relate to, please share them in the comments, because that's just a small sampling of them. Well, earlier today, I already had the idea of asking about another possible soft NESARA reveal, and that's for my home state of Alaska. Let me show you what I'm talking about. According to alaskawatchman.com, which is the only news outlet I will encourage you, if you follow Alaska news, go there only. The others are mainstream wannabe sellouts. But they usually have some decent reporting that's fairly balanced at Alaska Watchman. They have an article up that Alaskans are going to get a record $3,284 PFD this year. That stands for Permanent Fund Dividend, that legal residents, after a pretty strict vetting and 2-year wait period almost, receive. So, and it comes out later this month by direct deposit and early next month for those that get theirs mailed. Well, I don't know if you noticed, and I didn't right away, but if you add the digits up in that dividend amount, 3,284, you get yet another 17, which made me think possibly there's a NESARA element to it. And I'd like to ask the cards that tonight. So is the $3,284, which isn't all PFD. I should clarify that, because I do try to be as accurate as possible in what I say. And of course, I'm human, I'm fallible, I make mistakes. But that $3,284 does include a $650 energy assistance for residents. So, and I understand that that is being seen in Canada and England and other places too. So other places are coming up with some soft ways to ease some of our financial distress right now, even though big changes at the top of the pyramid haven't finished happening. So I'd like to ask, is the dividend amount this year for Alaska residents, is this another state type of soft reveal of NESARA? And is there other information about this PFD or Alaska that the universe would like us to know? Let's see what the cards have to say. Our first card is the Three of Wands, Page of Wands, King of Swords, Six of Swords, Two of Pentacles, Two of Cups, and the Four of Swords. Interesting. The Three of Wands is a card of success. So the PFD for Alaska residents has been built on a success of helping the everyday person. The Page of Wands. Now, the Page of Wands clarifies that situation a little bit, and he is an optimistic card. And the cards also know that whenever I see that white hat, over time I've come to realize, for me, this is an indication that there's a white hat element to my read, even if it doesn't show up that way for others. So while the Page of Wands is usually, one of cautious optimism and some enthusiasm, that's also energy that I associate with the white hats. So yeah, there's a white hat element to it. And it was no, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. It was no accident that 3,284 also equals 17. We have the King of Swords here, which is our for me, the ultimate white hat card showing up. Sometimes as Mr. T, but let's just say white hats because he's only one small part of a much bigger thing, which is the Alliance and the white hats. It's designed to help Alaskan residents, just as it always has, to ease some of the financial burdens we have. And things are expensive in Alaska. I know I was glad to get to Maine and gas is over $1.20 cheaper a gallon. It's still high, but it wasn't as high as I was having to pay in Alaska. Okay, so moving ahead in the near future, we have a Two of Pentacles. Pentacles are earth signs. They often relate to money. So it does look like, and part of it is there are two elements to that PFD to make that $3,284. And it does look like that there were a couple of options in play, and this is the one they chose. I get that because the Two of Cups is a card about an agreement, okay, between two parties. It's not a defeat for one or the other. It's simply an agreement. So they agree to have that amount be what is shown. As always, talking current events, there are some facts we don't know about this and what's going on. The observable one is the PFD's coming out. It's the largest one in history with that energy credit tacked onto it. And it does seem to have a NESARA soft reveal element to it. Let's see a couple other cards. Again, hey, we've got the Three of Pentacles, which is, again, kind of a money sign, but definitely an agreement. Firm foundations. So if you get interested, because I've mentioned PFD and you want to do some research, it was well thought out when it was designed and crafted. And at the time, they were trying to make it absolutely foolproof for government to not be able to get their hands on it. A lot of history there. And we have the Lovers card, another agreement card. So yeah, this is one of the things that was done so that Alaska residents can have a little easing of the financial burden. Interesting, or at least for me, since I live there. Okay, well, before I leave, I do want to ask those of you that believe in the power of prayer and positive intention, I would like you to keep Alaska in your thoughts and prayers. And I say that because Julie Green of Julie Green Ministries, who I think is an excellent source for prophecy, foresight, what have you, has said, number one, Alaska is going to be in the news. And I just assumed it was about, we're still using the Dominion machines up there. We haven't had a fair election in decades. I thought it might be that was coming out. But she has said that there's going to be a large earthquake. Now, Alaska gets earthquakes daily, and we build for them. But I lived there a couple of years ago when we got the one that registered at, I think it was 8.1. It was frightening. And she is saying that Alaska is going to get one that's bigger than any they've seen in recorded history. So just say a prayer that, if you would, that when those happen, thank goodness we build for earthquakes, but that there's no loss of life, that if there's any damage, it's simply to property. I would appreciate that because there's a lot of people up there I love, and a couple of furballs too. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it. I'll never take it for granted. I promise you that. I don't make promises lightly anymore, and that's one I can make and mean 100%. So until next time, and I'll be back later with something that's a little more global than Alaska news. Uh, be well, and I send you my love and light.